Hello, everybody. This is Dave Stark here, and I'm backed up with my wife Alice, my daughter Hannah. I started with a little tune, and I actually was thinking of starting with this one, but I got a Christmas card recently from a dear friend who always creates her own cards, and here in beautiful music text on the front of the card was, "Here we come a caroling, but on a computer screen." And so I guess I thought that's a pretty apt start for us today. So we've got a slideshow. Emily has been kind enough to come in, and she's up in her office running the slide show that's going to have the music for you to sing. We've got a little over a dozen things that we're going to go through, try to cover, and you will be muted, so there's no excuse for just not letting it all out, whether you're singing it up an octave or down an octave or whatever. I have taken a lot of the pitches down, so it should be pretty singable, I hope. So once in a while, I'll throw in a thought, and we're going to start with Joy to the World. We all love that. We're all so excited to be able to sing that. It oftentimes is in our Christmas services. And I just want to point out, this is one that is so delightfully simple because it's so built on simply scales. And so as you're singing that, just realize it's a great warm-up because you're just singing scales. So we're going to sing the first and the fourth stanzas. Joy to the World. Joy to the world, the Lord is come. Let earth receive her King. Let every heart prepare him room. Heaven and nature sing, and heaven and nature sing, and heaven and nature sing. He rules the world with truth and grace, and makes the nations prove the glories of his righteousness, wonders of his love, and wonders of his love, and wonders of his love. Well, we just did a carol based on scales, and now one that is just the opposite. It's built almost like a trumpet fanfare, and it's reflected in the title, Hark, the Herald Angels Sing. And listen to the beginning. And that'll, and almost like, trumpet fanfare. So, Hark the Herald Angels Sing. We'll do verses 1 and 3. Hark the herald angels sing, glory to the newborn King. Peace on earth and mercy mild, God and sinners reconciled. Joyful all you nations rise, join the triumph of the skies. With angelic hosts proclaim, Christ is born in Bethlehem. Hark the herald angels sing, glory to the newborn King. Ahead, Prince of Peace, hail the Son of Righteousness. Light and life to all he brings, with healing in his wings. Mild he lays his glory by, just do a quick spot here, and I don't want to be too formal or anything, but can you hear okay? Anybody that, maybe it's just Emily. Is there anyone that, raise your hand or whatever? I'm not seeing anybody right now, but can everybody hear okay? Okay. We're gonna go on to, we started with Joy to the World, which, as I said, is so delightfully simple with its use of scales. Well, it's sort of in second place to the next one, the first Noel, which is virtually all scales, all made up of scales, except for a couple of spots in the first part that have an ascending fourth, and a couple of spots in the second half that have a descending fourth. Otherwise, the entire melody is nothing but scales, which is, I think, pretty brilliant. So the first Noel, the angel did say. Get my... I should tell you, we're going to do verses 1 and 2. 1 and 2. The first Noel, the angel did say, was to certain poor shepherds in fields as they lay. In fields where they lay keeping their sheep on a cold winter's night that was so deep. Born is the King of Israel. Verse 2. They looked up and saw a star shining in the east beyond them far. And to the earth it gave great light, and so it continued both day and Okay, well, we're kind of entering the setting for the manger scene that is the spot where so many of the carols are focused. This one brings us in to the city, to the town of Bethlehem, once in royal David's city. And again, we'll do two stanzas, once in royal David's city. In a Okay, I think I'm going to ask my two wing people to maybe come up a little bit, and so that you can hear a little more of a group of voices. I'm just guessing. I'm not sure what's coming through, but now, as we are we came kind of focused into the town of Bethlehem, another great favorite that often is sung on Christmas Eve, O Little Town of Bethlehem. And for this one, we'll do stanzas 1 and 4, O Little Town and O Holy Child. Okay, I think I'm going to just ask us for a minute now to reflect a little bit. All of us have memories, and some of them are more distant than others. But this next one, we're going to sing The Friendly Beasts, and we're going to do 3 of the stanzas here. And Chris, in putting together the slides, has some great photos. A photo of a very cute donkey and a beautiful photo of some sheep. So we're going to do Jesus our brother, and then I said the donkey, and I said the sheep. Now some of us have memories, and I know I do, of being a small child, and children would sing, a children's choir or a group of children would sing at Christmas or perhaps a Christmas program. And this is one of those that had enough stanzas, and maybe a different grade would do one verse and then the next and so on. And I think it's fair to say that for most of us that have been around for a few years, this is one that still hangs in our memory. We still could probably sing the whole thing by heart. I saw one book that actually had a stanza for a camel. A lot of the versions don't include that stanza, but so it's you could use your imagination and include an awful lot of animals, the barn and beyond. But Jesus our brother. That's not quite the key that I wanted. And then another one that I know that we all could sing by heart, Away in a Manger. We're in that, the same kind of emotional feeling, the gentleness of the night and the setting of the baby Jesus in this possibly cold and lonely place, but a place that, when you look at the whole picture, is filled with warmth and light. We'll do all three stanzas of this. Okay. Next, we're going to look at another one that captures this same moment and the same scene. What Child Is This? Now, this is an interesting carol because it's in almost every carol book, it's in most every hymnal, but actually there are times that there are notes that are different. And so we kind of wonder about that. And of course, like folk songs, these carols have been around for centuries or longer. And so they are carried to generation to generation to generation with just audibly. Just people learn them by hearing them. And so sometimes that accounts for it. The other thing is that this is one that very likely, it goes back to the 16th century, the 1500s, and a lot of things were written in modes. And this could very possibly have been written in what's called a Dorian mode. All the modes have titles that correspond to Greek. They're Greek titles, Ionian and Dorian, and Phrygian, and Lydian, and Aeolian, and so on. But this one, if it was done in the Dorian mode, might sound like this. It sounds pretty familiar. At the end, a lot of times, even if they're playing it in Dorian, they'll raise that the note right below the home note. Now, more often than not, and the way we're going to sing it is in a modern minor key, so that that's probably the most familiar way to hear it now, but I wanted to just mention that's the reason why there are some notes that are different, because sometimes they'll draw on that modal background, and whatever way it's sung is a beautiful, beautiful melody. Lady Greensleeves is the English tune that this originally came from. Okay. What child is this who laid to rest on Mary's lap and is sleeping, whom angels greet with anthems sweet, while shepherds shall keep. This is Christ the King, shepherds come and angels sing. Haste, haste to bring him love, the babe Son. Okay, a different feel. We get away from the major key that we've had in most of the things that we've had and went to this minor key, modal feeling, but beautiful in its own way. Now we're going to change the feel. We're going to go to something that is festive and celebratory, and is an interpretation of what those in the fields may have heard coming from the angels. Angels we have heard on high. And every year at this, I have to admit, I can't not do this because I love the Gloria so much. And what is employed here, which is used in many hymns and particularly in many carols, is a technique called sequence. And that's where you take a small musical melodic idea and repeat it, but repeat it on a different set of notes. So the Gloria is repeated, and again. And then that's, again, that whole line is repeated. So you get this wonderful sequence in the Gloria, which just heightens the excitement and the joy, I think, in that. So verses 1 and 4, angels we have heard, and see him in a manger. Angels we have heard on high, sweetly singing all the creeds, and the mountains in reply, echoing their joyous strains. Joy, still. Gloria in excelsis Deo. See him in a manger laid, angels praise. Mary, Joseph, lend your aid, while our hearts in love we raise. Gloria in excelsis Deo. In excelsis Deo. And of course, the text, in excelsis Deo, in the highest, Gloria in excelsis, glory to God in excelsis, in the highest. You can even see EXCEL, Excel, Excel Energy, Excel program, the highest or the best. The suggestion there that comes from the Latin, and Deo, God. We didn't include it as one of the carols, but there is one that does this one better in terms of the sequence, and that is Ding Dong Merrily on High. Some of you know how I also enjoy this one. And it has this extended Gloria after Ding Dong Merrily on High. And it's like you could go on all day with Glorias. So that is one that we'll look forward to singing next year when we can gather here in our space. Okay, now we have gotten to a point of feeling like celebrating, and even though there are times right now that it's we have to work a little bit to feel like celebrating, we do know that in the big picture there is much to celebrate and much to be thankful for. This one then in the African American tradition, and it is Go Tell It on the Mountain. And we'll do the first and third stanzas on this. Shepherds gather or silent floods go wide, even Jesus Christ is Christ was born, and God set us salvation, that blessed Christmas morn. Go tell him all the hills and everywhere. Go tell him that Jesus Christ is born. Okay, so after doing some celebrating, we go back to the scene at the manger, and we are going to sing Another one that we all could sing without looking at any music, without looking at any words, Silent Night. Particularly maybe for some altos and basses, this is one that we love to sing, but at the same time, we generally love to sing it in parts because it is a melody that really has a wide range. I've lowered it kind of about as much as I dare, and so it should be singable, but still we have to use a little extra support to get to Sleep in Heaven. And you'll notice that the highest note in the whole piece is on the word heaven, and the first stanza, which is interesting. And it's not the way it was in the original German, the original, well, actually it was. Schlaf in himmlischer, yeah. So, yeah, the highest note in heaven. Verse 2. And now a German carol that has a nice lilt to it, and it is Good Christian Friends Rejoice. This one in almost a dance-like 6/8. That tune, and we will do verses 1 and 3. 1 and 3. Good Christian friends, rejoice with heart and soul and voice. Give heed to what we say. Jesus Christ is born today. Ox and ass before him bow. He is in the manger now. Christ was born today. Christ was born today. Good Christian friends, rejoice with heart and soul and voice. Now ye need not fear the grave. Jesus Christ was born to save. Calls you one and calls you all to gain the everlasting hall. Christ was born to save. Christ was born to save. Okay. Well, you know how many carols there are, and I encourage you, and I hope that you and your families can find a way. Maybe it's by Zoom, maybe it's gathering spaced in your home, and and explore some of the many dozens, actually hundreds of carols that are possible. We're going to have one now, and I know that we've got some young folks tuning in, but it's we're never too old to sing Jingle Bells. And so we're going to do a couple of, I don't know if it's, I guess it's just one stanza there. We might, if it's going so well, we might just do it twice. But doing Jingle Bells, and I'll figure out my key here. Okay, here we go. Dashing through the snow. Jingle bells, jingle bells, jingle all the way. What fun it is to ride in one horse open sleigh. Jingle bells, jingle bells, jingle all the way. What fun it is to ride in one horse open sleigh. Let's do it one more time. Dashing through the snow. Okay. And we're going to cap up here today, and I was hoping that we would be about 40 minutes, and I think we're staying pretty much to that, with Deck the Halls. Some of you know that every year this is one of the things that I get a kick out of, because half of the time you see this written in books as Deck the Hall, and half the time Deck the Halls. I'm guessing that perhaps it was originally just one hall. If you think about it, in a castle that, or in one of the gathering places in a city, there would be a hall, and they were going to deck the hall with holly and, outfit it. But it might be referring to deck everybody's halls. But back in the day, I think most people lived pretty simply, and most homes didn't have a hall. And you didn't have schools. I know a lot of my students, when I was teaching, said, well, Mr. Stark, they're just talking about the halls down the schoolway halls. And I got a kick out of that. But of course, when this was written, there were no schools with long halls like that, I'm guessing. But we will sing it with the plural, halls. That's what's on your sheet. And in addition, there is, Chris has found a second stanza that's new to me, but it's beautiful. See the Holy Child before us, fa la 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 la. Rise and join the angel chorus, fa la la. God is good beyond all measure, fa la la. Gave us everlasting treasure, fa la la. So both verses of Deck the Halls. And we, with this, want to wish all of you a very, very Merry Christmas. And we all miss each other. We know that. Our Sunday mornings are great ways to connect in real time, or later checking the recording, either way. And I want to particularly just mention, and I know you'll be getting notices and hear about this on Sunday too, but there are two gatherings, Zoom gatherings on Christmas Eve. And correct me if I'm wrong, but 3 o'clock, which is a young family orientation to that service, and then at 4:30. And so if that works, and I'm assuming that those will also be recorded like all of our services. And I want to thank our staff for all the work that they're doing, inventing things as they go, and creating the wonderful slides and the wonderful material that is used on each Sunday morning and in the devotions and in the morning prayer and the evening services on Wednesday that are the Holden evening prayer and so on. So a great thanks to all those involved in putting that together. So let's deck the halls with a bit of holly. Let's see, I'll get my key here. Deck the halls with boughs of holly, la 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 la. 'Tis the season to be jolly, la 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 la. Songs of Christmas, la 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 la. Sing, for God Himself is with us, la 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 la. See the Holy Child before us, la 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 la. Rise and join the angel chorus, la 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 la. God is good beyond all measure, la 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 la. Gave us everlasting treasure, la 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 la. Okay, thank you for coming and joining with us today to sing. And thanks to Emily upstairs, and thanks to all of you. Great to see those faces. You're looking good there. Horsemen's are, yeah, you must have clapped the loudest, Paul and Margaret. So good to see all of you. Good to see all of you. Hey. So stay well.
Thanks, Brother Dave.
You bet. You bet.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
Beautiful job, David and Alice and Anna.
Yeah, wonderful. Thank you.
Thanks, Dave and
Thank
family.
you.
Thanks
you.
for
Yay!
Oh.
Merry Christmas.
you all, and stay well and stay
You
warm.
too.